Hello friends, welcome back. This was going to be a top 10 my favorite movies of all time. I can't do it. I like movies too much. I like the movies I like too much. I love the movies I love too much. I can't nail down 10. I wrote this list, I rewrote this list, and I rewrote it, and I rewrote it, and I rewrote it. I can't do it. Instead, what I'm going to do is give you 10 genres and then tell you my top 3 movies in each genre. I think that's fair. So 30 movies. I can't nail down single movies. And then when I do, I think of other movies and go, oh yeah, I want to put that on the list. So really all this is going to do is give you an idea, the kind of movies I like. So in the future, and when you go back and watch my old reviews, you can see exactly where I'm coming from in terms of my critiques. And you can see how I judge one thing compared to another, and you can see inherently what tickles my pickle. That was dirty, I'm sorry. There are a lot of movies that I'm about to name that could be in different genres. Most movies are more than just one genre. So I have picked them and allocated them to the genre I think most appropriate, and that's just how I've done it. So let's get into it. The first genre is... As I said, this is a very hard list to make. So fantasy. My top 3 movies in this genre are Empire Strikes Back. Yes, I think Star Wars are fantasy movies, not science fiction, because it's not science. Yes, it's fiction, but it's more of a fantasy. We all know that. Empire Strikes Back. It is the best of the Star Wars movies by a mile, in my opinion. By a mile. It is the quintessential Star Wars film. It's the best of the bunch. I rewatch it all the time. I love it. Another one of my favorite fantasy movies is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Now, on its own, it's not really a movie. It is the culmination of all the Harry Potter movies and that continuing story. However, I really think they nailed the ending. I haven't read the books. Sorry. I'm looking at it from a film perspective. It's epic, it's sad, it's dark, it's got comedy where it needs it, levity, humanity, and it's full of heart in my opinion. I really think it's a great film. It's always stuck with me. Snape's memories and his twist is really a defining moment in cinema. That's still, to this day, remarkably done. And I remember before I saw it, I was extraordinarily hyped to see it. So that's one of my better film experiences of all time. And lastly on the list, this was a struggle to find a third place. I wasn't sure, and I should say, I'm naming these not in order. The top 3 are just the top 3, not 1, 2, 3, not 3, 2, 1. They're just the top 3. I'm going to put Fellowship of the Ring in 3rd position here. Fellowship is easily my favorite of the Lord of the Rings movies. I think it's the best done. I think it's got the best music, the best scenes, less of a reliance on CGI like what follows in the sequels. I just think it's the best one. You get to see the Shire, Bilbo, you meet everyone, Gandalf the Grey. Like there's so much. And you know, it's the Fellowship. You see everyone together. I think it's the best of the trilogy, and it's out of those 3 movies the one I've seen the most because it's the one I have the most fun with. I would say thriller is like my favorite genre. It's, well, it's thrilling, but I just like darker movies, like generally, because I think you can get away with more, and I think you have a wider breadth of options to approach it from, where a good thriller can look one way to one director and a completely another way to another director. So I think it's a very broad genre, so let's name them. On the list is Zodiac by David Fincher. Jake Gyllenhaal stars. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it too, Mark Ruffalo. So it is like a pre-Marvel team up here. And it's just a fascinating movie. I love serial killer documentaries. I love serial killer films when they're done right. This one's a fascinating one in real life too, because the Zodiac killer has never been identified. Probably never will. There's suspects everywhere. But David Fincher's just a master at this kind of film. I could have put pretty much any of his films in this spot, but Zodiac has always been the one that resonated with me most. Heat is on this list. Heat. Michael Mann, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, the 90s. ambient music. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 before Grand Theft Auto 5 and not quite as funny. This movie is very influential on me. When I envision myself as a director someday, this is the sort of movie I want to make, the same style, the same choices, the same look. That's the kind of movie I want to make. I love it. It's 3 hours. It earns every minute. And Al Pacino is high on cocaine the entire time.
Because she got a great ass. And you got your head all the way up it.
And I put The Prestige here as well. The Prestige, see, you're going to notice a couple Christopher Nolan movies in this list, and there's a reason he's the man he is. He just makes damn good movies, and his movies out of any directors are the ones that resonate with me. They're exactly how I want to make movies. But The Prestige always stuck with me because this is a period piece, a mystery, non-linear, Christopher Nolan classic. It's a very underrated movie. I think it got a lot more exposure as Christopher Nolan obviously has become the director he is now. However, back in the day when I first saw this, I saw this just because I was looking at all his movies. This was around the Dark Knight times. I got into this stuff very young. The Prestige blew me away. That's one of those movies that still sticks with me, and I do watch it quite often. This is a genre that I also love, like thriller, and disclaimer, like I just said, Christopher Nolan pops up here twice. So, Inception. Again, first time I saw this, like everyone, it's just wow. What Christopher Nolan does better than anybody is he puts like you in this thrill ride where if you really think about a lot of things story-wise, they can break down sometimes in a lot of his films. He relies on mysterious devices that are never explained. Like, there are things that you could break down, but what he does so well is he puts you into the story and you're just along for the ride. He doesn't waste your time. He always gets the best soundtracks to his movies. They look great, the action's pretty damn good. He always gets the best actors too. Inception's just one of those movies that, yet again, watching that as a young teen was like, fuck yeah. And then he followed that up a couple years later with Interstellar, and I am huge into astronomy, into physics. Like, I've looked into all this stuff, always been super fascinated with space and science around space and time travel, and this movie just really appealed to me. Matthew McConaughey is fantastic. Again, space travel, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the soundtrack is just gold. I saw it 4 times in the cinema, a remarkable cinematic experience and a movie I love to revisit. Again, like Christopher Nolan movies can be, there are plot elements and character moments that you can question and break down, yes. But as I said before, what he does so good is put you in the ride, and he does it so well that you can look past the nitpicky mistakes. And I've thrown a classic here as well, Back to the Future, another time travel-esque story. I guess all these science fiction movies I just picked have a time travel, time displacement element to them. Well, yeah, I love time travel. I'd love to make a time travel movie one day. I have an idea, by the way. Back to the Future is a classic. I hope it never gets remade. It is the 80s at its peak. It's got Huey Lewis in the news. It's got the best music. It goes back to the 50s. I love 50s music as well. Like, you get that Earth Angel song. Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd are perfect casting. It's a perfect movie in so many ways, and it's incredible that it still holds up. It will never be beaten in terms of just a pure cinematic ride. I'm not a horror guy, and that's not because I get scared. I just find horror movies lame, really lame, and predictable, and just, they do nothing for me. You can predict the jump scares. Like, this is a gross generalization of horror movies. They're not all like that. I have seen some very good horror movies. I just watched The Witch by Robert Eggers the other day for the first time, and it's a very atmospheric movie. I do not think it's as great as people say. I know. And that's what I like in a horror movie, is atmosphere. And I also like upending the tropes of horror. That's fun to me. So my 3 picks are, first of all, one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Signs. Now, some people might say Signs is not a horror movie, but I looked on IMDb, it said horror, so I'm putting it in this category. There are moments in this movie that will scare people, definitely, because it creates atmosphere so well, this movie. The soundtrack, the static shots, the eeriness of the acting at times, the stiltedness of the dialogue, it all contributes to this feeling of unease. There's the crop scene where you see the alien foot. There's the scene where the alien is on the barn just in the middle of the night. You see its silhouette. There's the whole ending. There's a lot of horror in this movie. And I think for people that don't know what they're getting into, if they watch this and actually watch it and they aren't on their phone, it will scare people. I love Signs. It's one of my favorites of all time. Also on the list, again, could be questionable, but I have seen this listed as a horror movie, and that's The Terminator, the first one. This is scary. This follows horror tropes. Unstoppable force coming after young white girl. It's a horror movie. I think it's the best Terminator movie. I mean, I love T2 as well. Don't get me wrong. T2's a completely different movie and genre almost. The first one is eerie, it's simple, it's dark, and I love it, always have. It's not particularly scary, but it's overwhelming in how fearful you become of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator because he truly can't be stopped. So the fear comes in the anxiety you have for Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, not so much in fear of the Terminator itself. At the end of the day, I don't care if you say it's not a horror movie, I consider it a horror movie. And because I don't have that many other horror movies that I really have watched and know well, I need to make up this list somehow. And then an actual horror movie I am going to put on the list is Scream. I've always loved Scream, from the moment I saw it. And when I was a young kid and saw this movie, it did scare me. The whole opening sequence with Drew Barrymore and the popcorn and the guy getting gutted on the porch, Drew Barrymore getting gutted, the voice, Ghostface is such a cool character. It's not particularly scary. I mean, it is just a typical general horror movie, but it does play with horror tropes and all that, which I appreciate. It has levity, it doesn't take itself too seriously, it has a nice twist. It's one of those horror movies that I really... It's like for people born in the 80s that love Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween. Scream is sort of my style of horror movie I like to revisit just to have a bit of fun with. I love action movies, good action movies. I grew up watching so many. This was hard to choose, it really was. One of them is a very cliche answer. The other two I think are pretty good as well. So let me tell you the cliche, it's Die Hard. Die Hard is an incredible film, directed by John McTiernan, who also has another movie in my top 3 here. But Die Hard, it's Bruce Willis at his best. There's Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, who appeared in Deathly Hallows that I mentioned earlier. So good as the villain. The movie takes itself seriously, but it's got levity. The action is all visceral and fantastically done, and it's listed constantly as one of the best of all time for a reason. It also just happens to be a Christmas movie in my opinion, and I love Christmas, so you combine the two, fantastic. The other John McTiernan movie, Predator. This is just the manliest man movie ever made. Me and my friends to this day still, Dylan, you son of a bitch, we still do that. I watch this movie so often, it never gets old. It's just so simple, but it's so well executed, it's raw. It's got endless iconic moments. Carl Weathers, who just, rest in peace sir, is awesome. Arnold, you don't really have to say much about him, you know he's awesome. And the Predator itself, they haven't made the Predator as cool as the first one since. It's slimmer here, the Predator design. In all the sequels that follow, the Predator just gets more bulky and stupid looking. In the original, it's a streamlined, brutalistic, barbaric look. It's simple, he's elegant. I love this movie. Predator's like one of those movies you watch as a kid for the first time and go, oh yeah, thank God I'm alive in this timeline. This is cool. Third on the list, this was hard to pick, hard to narrow down, but I ended up with Lethal Weapon because those movies, and the first one specifically, I grew up watching these. I love Mel Gibson. He was in Signs as well. I love Mel Gibson. I love this dynamic. I love the jazz noir soundtrack to this movie. It's really well done. It's just a really sort of, I don't know how to put it. It's an action movie that has a little bit more going on, and they got 3 sequels. Apparently they're making a 5th one. So there's a reason for all that. The first movie was awesome. I believe it's a Christmas movie too. But yeah, Lethal Weapon doesn't get a lot of love these days, I don't think. I think Mel Gibson, unfortunately, tainted a bit of his career. However, I don't care. I love Lethal Weapon. I love all of them, actually. This is a really hard genre because there's so many good movies in the drama genre. So let me tell you them. Shawshank Redemption is number 1. And I know that's a cliche, typical answer for a man to say, but it's true. Everyone loves this movie because it is one of the best movies ever made. I love the movie. I've seen it so many times, it's kind of embarrassing. Next on the list was Tough, and this could change, but this movie specifically, I've always loved, and it's pretty iconic in my opinion, and it stars an icon of cinema, Gran Torino. I think this is an incredible movie. This is like Clint Eastwood right at that apex when the movies he directed were just incredible, always getting like the Oscar noms, and he's starring in it. He plays this great character. It's got deep themes, a great ending. It's just a really well done movie, and I just genuinely love it. And last on the list, I tried to think of movies with the genre of drama specifically that affected me the most. So Shawshank affected me. Gran Torino affected me. I think another one that I want to put on the list, and I know wouldn't be on anyone else's list, but it is for me because it's one of those movies that always upset me, was Castaway with Tom Hanks. This is a really sad movie. This is Robert Zemeckis. You know, he's stuck on the island for years. He's got the volleyball Wilson. Like, that is, when he loses Wilson, is so tragic. I think Tom Hanks should have got the Oscar for this movie over Russell Crowe in Gladiator. That is my opinion. Not saying Russell Crowe wasn't great, but I mean, who else can lead a movie like this but Tom Hanks? It's got everything that you want in a drama. It's a really fantastic film, and I think it's been more of an overlooked film as time has gone on, which upsets me. I've put down superhero as a genre. I don't know how legitimate that makes me. I'm sorry, Scorsese, come at me. I love superhero films and superheroes, so why would I not make this one of the genres? And this is a very easy list for me to make. It's very easy. There are 3 movies specifically that I mean, actually, that's a lie. I could put for the 3 that I love, just the Dark Knight trilogy, but I didn't do that. I chose The Dark Knight for obvious reasons. Christopher Nolan, again. One of my favorite movies of all time. Iconic performances, soundtrack, look. On a thematic level, every theme is perfectly set up and paid off. On a character level, every character gets an arc. It's such a remarkable movie. It really is so tight, so perfect. It's just one of the best movies ever made, and that is unquestionable. No one can say it's not. Next on the list is Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi. Like The Dark Knight, this is the Dark Knight in the Spider-Man trilogy here. It ups the ante, themes, characters, it looks better, soundtrack, villain, it's perfect. I grew up on this movie. It is so special to me. And finally, number 3 is more of a recent one, but it's Avengers Endgame, because I think it's a really remarkable movie. I could have put a lot of other superhero movies in the place here, but Endgame is such a once in a lifetime movie. The lead up, the payoff in the movie, like, to actually put this movie together, it's coherent, it's emotional, it's thrilling, and it's 3 hours, but it doesn't waste your time. No one else could have done this. They did this so well. It affected me. It was a great experience in the cinema, and really, that was the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I grew up loving comedy movies. I consider myself funny from time to time. Comedy influences me so much. And this was a hard list to make because I'd put some down and go, oh no, what about this one? Or what about this one? What I did is I nailed it down to 3 movies that I grew up with, and 3 movies that really, when I think what kind of comedy movies I would like to make if I were to make one, these are the 3 that would influence me the most. Number 1 is Happy Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore is a classic. I love golf, so there's that. Shooter McGavin, fantastic villain. Adam Sandler, say what you will. The man's a genius, the man's funny. He built his empire. and I commend him for that. And Happy Gilmore as a movie is just dumb fun, but it's got heart. It has a lot of heart. And I guarantee when any of us hear Lynyrd Skynyrd, Tuesday's Gone, or Magic, or any of those songs that Adam Sandler used in his movie here, you think of Happy Gilmore, and I do. I just hope they don't ruin the legacy with Happy Gilmore 2. Tropic Thunder is on this list because it has to be. Tropic Thunder is one of the funniest movies ever made. One of the most offensive movies ever made, I guess, if you're that way inclined to being offended by everything. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest movies. Robert Downey Jr. in blackface getting nominated for an Oscar. Ben Stiller is a great director. He directs this. Matthew McConaughey, Jack Black, all of them. It is so funny. You never go full R word. I want to say it. We should bring back that word into the zeitgeist because more people need to be called the R word these days. And I've chosen Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me, because I grew up watching Austin Powers on repeat. Mike Myers is so funny. Mike Myers is a big part of my childhood. All the Austin Powers movies, the Shrek movies, So I Married an Axe Murderer, like he's so good. I think his brand of comedy, Wayne's World, is very funny. He's very clever, Mike Myers is. His comedy style kind of slipped as he got older, but those early movies he made were just great. And Austin Powers 2 is iconic. You got Mini-Me, Fat Bastard. It's just so good. I always love this movie. I think it's brilliant, and I wish we would get an Austin Powers 4, even if it would suck. I just want to see another one. It's so funny. Dr. Evil, number 2, like it's a time travel movie too, I guess. So there's that. We're almost done, everyone. I know this is a longer video. So now, genre, period. So like a period piece kind of movie, you know, set in a different era. I've got my 3. I have chosen Braveheart because Mel Gibson directs. It's brutal, it's beautiful. Mel Gibson is very good at brutality. Passion of the Christ, Hacksaw Ridge, like the man is good at brutality. He really is. But he's also very good at the sentimental stuff, the emotional stuff. And this movie has it all for me. I know it's historically inaccurate, but I don't care. Braveheart, you're transported into this time period, and the soundtrack is brilliant, and it's iconic. Freedom, like, you can't get much more cinematic than Braveheart. Gladiator is next. I think, like Braveheart, you're transported into this world. It's very cinematic. This is Ridley Scott when Ridley Scott was really good. Like, really good. Russell Crowe, even though I said earlier he shouldn't have got the Oscar, he's really damn good. Hans Zimmer does the music. Fantastic. The world, Joaquin Phoenix is creepy. It's not one of the best of all time for me, but in terms of period movies that I love to go and watch, Gladiator is right up there. The final movie on this list has always been one that's resonated with me. That's The Last Samurai, starring Tom Cruise. I think this is a remarkable movie that I never really hear people talk about. And I get it. People are gonna say, oh, the white savior, he's the white savior. No, the Japanese culture saved him, and then he helped them out in return. Stop doing this political divide with movies, people, seriously. The Last Samurai is a beautiful movie. It explores themes of friendship and war and the passing of time, the passing of culture. It says a lot, it does a lot. Hans Zimmer again does the music here and it's beautiful. It looks great. Tom Cruise is really good here. I rewatch it regular. I used to be fascinated with samurai culture and Japanese culture in general. So this movie has a lot for me. I chose Western as the next genre because I love a good Western. I do. There's something about Western movies and the slower style of them that I just really love. Westerns to me feel like the kinds of movies you can sit there and smell the dirt, the mountains, the air. Westerns have a different feel from every other movie. First one I chose, which is kind of ironic because it's sort of the anti-Western, is Unforgiven. Now this is directed and starring Clint Eastwood again. If you've never seen Unforgiven, you gotta watch it. It's something special. The first time I watched it, I didn't know I was watching like a really different kind of Western. And it is. What it does, what it explores, what it doesn't show you, what it does show you, it's a mature movie. Very mature. It says things about men. It says things about the nature of the Western, or the Wild Western times, or that period of time. To be made in a time when Westerns were out of the public popularity, Unforgiven comes around and says, Westerns don't all have to be John Wayne, USA, they can be this, and I love this movie. Now again, not quite your typical Western, but Django Unchained, I think is a buttload of fun. Quentin Tarantino does what he does best and turns a genre into his own movie. We know the story, it's Jamie Foxx, a former slave, trying to find his wife, who is a slave to Calvin Candy, Leo DiCaprio, happy birthday, turned 50 today. It's got everything I want. It's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, too, by the way. Very, very close to Inglourious Basterds, which I'm about to talk about, by the way. It handles dark subject matter in Tarantino's way, which is, it's never overwhelming, it's dark when it needs to be, it's fun when it needs to be. I think it's a really perfectly well done, told, beautiful story, and it makes me laugh, and I think it's endlessly rewatchable. Last movie in the Western genre is Tombstone, starring Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is the man. Val Kilmer's in this movie too, the man. Sam Elliott, the man. This is a great movie. If anyone hasn't seen Tombstone, go watch Tombstone. I don't want to say too much about this movie, but Tombstone has it all. My dad showed me this movie one day. He goes, oh, you gotta watch Tombstone. You gotta watch Tombstone. I go, yeah, whatever. Wow, it's so good. Go watch Tombstone. Because I like a good war movie. I'm a history buff. I like war epics. I like things that I know. When I say things I know, meaning things I've done my research on and then seeing them put on the screen and seeing them done well. And that's where the first movie comes in. This movie tells a story I was not familiar with. That's Valkyrie, starring Tom Cruise. I watched this movie only, I want to say a year ago, 18 months ago, for the first time ever. Never heard of it before. It's about these German officers trying to assassinate Hitler in the dying, waning year of 1945, I believe, like the end of World War II. They're trying to assassinate Hitler. I had no idea this story existed. And it follows Tom Cruise as he, recruits people and everything else. And it's so well made. It's Bryan Singer, who, let's not talk about him, but he makes this movie. He was a good director. He made a movie here that I just think is thrilling from beginning to end. It goes places you don't expect it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's just really, for me, I thought, wow, this is a really good movie. I loved it when I watched it. I've only seen it once, but it really stuck with me. So yeah, Valkyrie. Hacksaw Ridge, which I mentioned earlier. Mel Gibson directs this, starring Andrew Garfield. This was one of those movies, watched it in the cinema. When the war started, it was like, whoa. Because Mel Gibson and just the brutality he shows, he contrasts that with the very sentimental, almost campy love story at the start of the movie. It's just brilliant. Always been a favorite war movie of mine. And I just mentioned it before too, but Inglourious Basterds, Quentin Tarantino again. I love World War II and learning about it and seeing the history. It's such a fascinating time period. And when you think about it only being 80 years ago, it's kind of mind-boggling, really, isn't it? Again, Tarantino does what he does best. He takes a story set in a time period and does what he wants with it. It mixes the dark tones of the era with comedy, with violence, and Tarantino does what Tarantino does best. Brad Pitt is hilarious. Christoph Waltz is menacing. It's just fantastic from beginning to end. On any given day, this is my favorite Tarantino movie. On the other off day, it's Django Unchained, so I can never choose between the two. So both had to make the list. And those are my 30, I guess, for now, favorite movies of those genres. I mean, all these movies I love. All of these movies are not like definitive. There are so many good movies out there. There's probably so many I even forgot about to include. But when I made the list and when I rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it, this is what I ended up with today. So that's what I'm gonna tell you about. 30 great movies. Have you seen them all? The ones you haven't seen, take my word for it. I've got good taste. That's why you're here. Go watch them. Trust me. Trust me. And then come back and tell me, oh, Mickey C, that was so good. Because that's what I want to hear. I only want to hear good things in the comments. Don't tell me about how big my ears are in the comments. I don't even know why I just said that. I do have big ears. But no one ever says that in the comments. Well, I know what I'm gonna hear about in the comments now. So drop it down below. Tell me your thoughts, your opinions, blah, blah, blah. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.